Welcome to another world of cruising on Seaworthy, your source for cruise information and news. Today we're going to try and demystify cruise fares and how they work. Today we're going to focus on Carnival Cruise Line. Carnival has four basic types of cabins: inside, ocean view, balcony, and suites. Within each category there are subcategories, with A being the least expensive. So if you were to look at a cabin that was 4A, it would be cheaper than a 4E. Both are inside cabins, but the location of the 4E would be higher up on the ship and closer to the activity. For this purpose, we're going to look at the Carnival Glory sailing on March 19, 2016 to the Eastern Caribbean. You'll notice up here there is a rate of $506 average per person. I should let you know that I searched on 3 passengers per cabin. So this would be $506 per person. This is what we would call a lead-in rate. Meaning this is the lowest price that you'll find on any category across all of the sailings during the month of March. You'll notice that the lead-in rate is for an ocean view on March 5th, 2016. But we're going to look at March 19th. So you would click on Book Now, and then it would ask you how many staterooms you needed. And in this case, you'd only need one, so you would click Continue. How many people are cruising? This is where you would select the number of people you plan to have in the cabin. Again, you would click Continue. This screen is going to find deals for you. You put the state that you're in. If you happen to be 55 years or older, you can check that box. They do have rates for senior citizens and AARP. If you're in the military or were in the military, you can select military promotional programs. If you are a past guest on Carnival, you should check the VIFP Club or past guest box and then enter your number. If you don't know that, you can call the cruise line and they'll be able to provide it for you. Or if you log on to carnival.com with your email, it can search it out and find it for you. So this, you would click Continue. Now you're given with a choice of the 4 categories that I mentioned before: ocean view, interior, balcony, and suite. In this case, they're offering an ocean view promotion, and the ocean view is in fact cheaper than the interior cabin. So you can select whichever cabin type that you want. For this exercise, I selected balcony. And now, once I've selected balcony, it shows me the balcony price, average per 3 person, and it gives me a standard balcony, or it gives me an upsell of an aft view extended balcony. These are balconies that are on the back of the ship facing the wake. They tend to have a larger balcony, as in deeper. It's not as wide. It's the same width, but it's not as it's deeper than the normal balcony. So for this, I'm not into the upsell, so I'm going to click the select for the regular balcony. Now it gives me my offers. This offer is the Cruise Countdown sale, offering me free upgrades. I can choose my room location. It tells me that my sale ends on January 31st. And it gives me the vacation guarantee, which means that if I find this for a lower price on Carnival.com, they will either move me up to the category that I paid or offer onboard credit. So I think this deal is pretty good, so I'm going to select it. Now it asks me where I want to be on the ship. Now you'll see the front on this particular cruise is sold out, this being this block right here. The middle section, of course, the midships, is right here. And the aft, or the back of the ship, is from about the funnel back to the back. I prefer to be in the middle because there's less rock and roll, so I will take the middle. Now, here on this screen, ordinarily what you'd see is this might be a higher price. This might be $1.20 per person per day more expensive than, say, upper. In this case, all of them are included in the price. The higher up on the ship you go, the better your view, obviously. The closer you stay to the middle, which would be right in here, you're going to experience less roll. Now at this point, I want to show you over on the left-hand side of the screen, you see what's almost like a timeline. If at any point something doesn't look right to you, or maybe you want to check a different price, or the cabin you want isn't there, you can click on any one of these buttons over here and it will take you back to that step in the process. Now we get to cabin selection. This is a deck plan showing you where on the deck the cabin is. This happened to be the middle, and I've selected cabin 8387, which is just in the middle of the 2 banks of elevators. There's another bank of elevators back here and one up here. So this tells you the cabins that are available, and then it shows you where they are on the ship. Now, breakdown of pricing. So the cabin I selected, the cruise fare for passenger 1 and 2 was $1,029, and the third person was $389. If you were to add that up and divide it by 3, you would see that it meets the $819 per person average. Also included in your cruise price are port and taxes. Port fees that are paid to the port you leave from and any port that you arrive at on your cruise. Each port assesses a per passenger fee for the ship to dock there, and taxes are, well, taxes. Insurance. Insurance is optional but recommended. If there's any reason that you may miss your cruise, such as a job situation, you've been sick, or there's a possibility that you might have surgery, it's a good thing to have. The other reason you might want to have it is if you get injured on the cruise, then insurance would pay for the medical center on the ship as well as possibly evacuating you off should that need arise. Tips. I've included tips on here even though technically it's not part of your cruise breakdown when you book, although there is an option to do that. In this case, $84 is $12 per day per person, and the tips go to your cabin steward, your dining room waiter, as well as your assistant waiter at the table you happen to sit at for dinner. I wanted to include that in there because it will get assessed on ship. So if you were looking to spend nothing at all over and above what you pay for the cruise, you'd want to calculate in tips. Now on Carnival.com you can search on gratuities, and it will take you to a page that has a really nice breakdown that shows you what the amount of tips you'd pay per cruise for however many days you decide to go. And as you see, our totals here in the end, $1,372.18 for passengers 1 and 2, and $662.18 for a total of $3,406.54. Now, a neat trick that I like to do when I'm comparing cruises is I like to take the total amount that I spent and divide it by 7 and then divide it by 3, because this is a 7-day cruise. If I divide by 7, that would give me my per day cost, and if I divide by 3, that gives me the per person per day cost. And you might find that it's cheaper to sail on an 8-day per day than it is, say, a 6-day. And the reason for that is it's harder for people to get 8 days off to go on vacation than it is 6. So sometimes you'll see an 8-day cruise that is not a whole lot more than a 6-day cruise. So you may want to keep that in mind when you're looking at booking. In future videos, we'll take a look at some of the other cruise line websites and how we go about booking cabins on those. But if you have any questions on Carnival or booking in general, just drop me a comment below, and I will be happy to answer that comment either personally or in a future video. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listening, and I look forward to providing you more videos.